The Stellar Express gleamed under the pale light of the space station. It was the largest interstellar train ever built, stretching longer than 5 city blocks, with carriages that hovered silently above the magnetic tracks. Its engines hummed with a soft, deep vibration that seemed to echo through the entire platform. Humans from all over the colonies were boarding, carrying luggage, hopes, and dreams for the distant worlds they would visit. Among them was Nico, a young engineer from the mining colony of Arden 4. He had been chosen to join a special crew to observe the train's engine systems and report any irregularities. This was his first ride on the Stellar Express, and he could hardly contain his excitement. He had seen the train only in pictures and videos, but standing next to it made him feel small, almost as if he were about to step into a living machine. As he walked along the platform, Nico noticed the other passengers. Families were smiling, chatting about the stars outside the windows. Business travelers quietly read data tablets, and a few scientists murmured to each other about strange phenomena they hoped to study during the journey. Everyone seemed calm, but Nico felt a strange tingling at the back of his neck, as if something unseen was watching. He stepped onto the train, feeling the soft hum beneath his feet. The interior was breathtaking. Smooth, silver walls reflected the light from the overhead panels, and the seats were arranged in pods, each offering a panoramic view of the stars outside. Even the floors seemed to glow faintly, marking pathways that curved with the shape of the train. Nico moved carefully, trying to take it all in. Then he heard the first whisper. At first, he thought it was someone speaking softly in a distant carriage. "Hello, can you hear us?" a faint voice murmured. Nico turned his head, but the corridor was empty. A couple walked by, laughing, completely unaware. He frowned, shaking his head. Perhaps it was just his imagination. Still, the whisper came again, soft and almost musical. "This way, come closer." Nico's curiosity overpowered his hesitation. He followed the sound, walking down quiet corridors where the hum of the engine seemed stronger. He noticed strange energy patterns in the air, like tiny shimmering lights floating just above the floor. They twisted and danced, vanishing whenever he tried to focus directly on them. Eventually, Nico reached an old observation deck at the very front of the train. The deck had been closed for passengers, but the door was slightly open. He pushed it gently, and it slid aside with a soft hiss. Inside, the space was dim, lit only by the glow of the stars outside. The whispering was louder here, more distinct, though he still could not make out who or what was speaking. Nico leaned against the railing and looked out at the stars. The train was already moving, gliding effortlessly through the void of space. Nebulae swirled in distant systems, casting faint colors across the endless darkness. The sight was breathtaking, but the whispers distracted him. He crouched slightly, listening carefully, trying to understand the strange, melodic sounds. Suddenly, a voice said clearly, "Do not fear. We only watch, we only guide." Nico froze. His heart beat faster. There was no one in the deck, but the voice seemed real. It carried a calm, gentle tone, as if it were speaking directly to him. Nico took a deep breath. Who are you?" he asked aloud. Only the quiet hum of the train answered him. He knew he should return to the main carriages, but curiosity rooted him in place. The energy patterns seemed to respond to his presence, swirling faster, forming shapes that reminded him of constellations back on Arden 4. He felt a strange connection, as if the train itself were alive, aware of him. Minutes passed, though they felt like hours. Then the voice whispered again, Softer this time, follow, seek the unknown, learn, Nico shivered. He didn't understand the meaning, but the words filled him with excitement and a sense of purpose. As he finally stepped back into the corridor, the energy patterns faded, and the whispers grew faint again, almost like a memory. Nico knew this journey would be unlike anything he had ever experienced. The Stellar Express was not just a train, it was a mystery waiting to be uncovered. He returned to the main carriage, trying to blend in with the other passengers. No one else seemed to notice anything unusual. But Nico could not stop thinking about the whispers. Who or what was speaking to him? And why had the train chosen him to hear it? For the first time, Nico realized that this was not just a ride through space. This was the beginning of something far greater, an adventure that could change everything he knew about humanity, the universe, and himself. And somewhere deep within the train, the whispers waited, patient and quiet, ready to reveal secrets to those brave enough to listen. Nico could not stop thinking about the whispers. Every time he closed his eyes, the soft, melodic voices replayed in his mind. He wandered through the train, hoping to find another clue, another sign of what or who was behind them. The passengers around him were busy with their own activities, reading, talking, or gazing out at the stars, completely unaware of the strange occurrences. As he passed through one of the quieter carriages, Nico noticed someone else listening, someone who seemed to hear what he heard. She was sitting alone, her long brown hair pulled into a simple braid, her eyes fixed on the empty corridor ahead. Nico approached cautiously. "Excuse me," he said softly. "Did you hear the whispers?" The girl looked up, surprised. Her eyes were wide, filled with a mixture of fear and curiosity. "Yes," she whispered. "I thought I was imagining things." "My name is Nico," he said. "I'm new on this train." "Who are you?" "I'm Myra," she replied. "I've been on the Stellar Express for a few days now, and I've been hearing them since the journey began. They're guiding me, I think. But no one else seems to notice." Nico felt a surge of relief. He wasn't imagining it after all. Together, they walked slowly through the carriage, listening. The whispers were faint here, but Nico could just make out the words, "This way, follow the path." Myra's eyes sparkled with determination. "I've been following the whispers to see where they lead. Some passengers have dismissed it, but I think there is something important. Something the train wants us to discover." Nico nodded. "I want to understand too. Maybe we can figure it out together." The two of them moved toward a section of the train that neither had explored before. It was a narrow corridor that seemed older than the rest, with dim lights and walls lined with strange panels. Some of the panels flickered with faint symbols, almost like alien writing, but Nico couldn't read them. As they walked, the whispers grew louder, more urgent. "Do not fear, knowledge awaits, follow the energy." Nico and Myra exchanged a glance. Neither of them had any idea what knowledge the train might hold, but they both felt a strong pull to keep moving forward. Finally, they reached a carriage that was not on any of the maps they had been given. The door was unmarked, its surface smooth and metallic. Nico reached out, hesitating for a moment. "Are you ready?" he asked Myra. She nodded. "We have to see what's inside." Nico pressed a small panel beside the door, and it slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, the carriage was empty except for a strange device at the center. It was a cube of glowing material, hovering slightly above the floor. Light pulsed through it like a heartbeat, and the whispers seemed to come from it. Nico and Myra stepped closer, both feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. The cube pulsed brighter, and the whispers formed words they could understand. You are chosen, to learn, to grow, to guide humanity. Myra gasped. It knows us. It knows who we are. Nico reached out, letting his hand hover just above the cube. He could feel a faint warmth, almost like it was alive. But, why us? He asked softly. The whispers replied, calm and gentle, humanity has courage. Humanity has curiosity. You have the strength to discover and the wisdom to act. Myra smiled, her fear replaced with determination. We have to follow it. We have to see where it leads. For the next few hours, they explored the carriage together. Strange symbols floated in the air, forming patterns that seemed to shift as they looked at them. Every so often, the cube pulsed brighter, and the whispers repeated their message, encouraging Nico and Myra to continue. They began to understand that the Stellar Express itself was not just a train, it was alive, aware of those on board, and testing them in ways they could not yet fully comprehend. As the train moved through a field of distant stars, Nico and Myra finally sat down to catch their breath. They were both exhausted, but exhilarated. The experience had been strange, almost magical, and yet somehow real. I think we're part of something bigger, Nico said quietly. Myra nodded. Something far greater than just traveling through space. The train, the whispers, they're showing us that humanity can do more than we ever imagined. The train hummed softly beneath them, as if it were listening. Outside the windows, distant galaxies swirled, their colors shimmering in the darkness. Inside, Nico and Myra felt a sense of connection not just to each other, but to the universe itself. And somewhere deep within the heart of the Stellar Express, the whispers waited, patient and quiet, ready to guide those who were brave enough to follow. Nico and Myra could hardly sleep that night. Though they returned to their assigned carriage, their minds were full of questions. The whispers, though quieter, still lingered in the edges of their thoughts. What was the purpose of the strange cube? Who or what was communicating through it? And why had the Stellar Express chosen them to hear these voices? By morning, they decided to return to the hidden carriage. The train moved smoothly through space, but every few seconds, Nico could feel a slight vibration, like the heartbeat of the enormous vessel. Myra glanced at him with a determined look. We have to understand it. We can't just ignore this. This could change everything we know about space travel, and humanity. Nico nodded. You're right. Let's go. They moved quietly through the corridors. The main carriages were busy with passengers, but the hidden areas remained empty, almost untouched. The air felt different here, lighter, as if charged with some invisible energy. The cube waited for them in the center of the carriage, glowing softly like a quiet pulse of life. As they approached, the whispers returned, clearer this time. Knowledge, wisdom, courage, unite, the words repeated like a song, drawing them closer. Nico and Myra exchanged a look of awe. The cube seemed to respond to their presence, pulsing brighter with each step. Myra reached out first, hovering her hand above the cube. It's like it wants to teach us, she said. Or maybe show us something important. Nico followed her example. As soon as their hands were near the cube, a wave of light washed over them. The walls of the carriage seemed to dissolve, replaced by images floating in midair. They saw planets of every color, vast oceans, mountains taller than any on Earth. Cities floated above clouds, glowing with energy. And among the images, humans moved, building, exploring, discovering. It's showing us possibilities, Nico whispered. All the things humans could achieve. The whispers spoke again, gentle but firm. Humanity is capable, stronger than it knows, ready to rise. Myra looked at him, her eyes shining. It's not just images. It's like a story, our story, and the future we could build. Nico felt a thrill. He had always believed in humanity, but seeing it like this, an endless potential waiting to be realized, was more powerful than anything he had imagined. Do you think it chose us because it saw something in us? He asked. The cube pulsed, as if nodding. The whispers continued, curious, brave, wise, together. For the next few hours, they explored the carriage, watching the images shift and change. Sometimes they saw challenges: asteroid fields, failing systems, dangerous storms in space. Other times, they saw humans cooperating, solving problems, and creating wonders. Every vision carried a lesson: courage, intelligence, collaboration, and compassion. This is incredible, Myra said. It's like the train is teaching us how to be the best humans we can be. It's guiding us. Nico smiled, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known. It's more than guidance. It's hope. It's telling us that humans can achieve amazing things if we work together. Suddenly, the cube pulsed brighter, and a new image appeared: a map of the train itself, showing hidden chambers, secret systems, and paths that no passenger had ever seen. It's showing us the train, Nico said. There's more to explore, more to learn. Myra nodded eagerly. Then we need to follow it. If it wants to guide us, we have to listen. Together, they memorized the layout, noting the unusual corridors and hidden spaces. The whispers repeated their encouragement: follow, learn, grow, guide humanity. The voices were calm, patient, yet full of certainty. It was as if the train itself believed in them and, through them, in all humans. Finally, the cube dimmed, and the images faded. The carriage returned to normal, but Nico and Myra felt different. They carried knowledge, understanding, and a sense of responsibility. The Stellar Express was not just a train, it was a teacher, a guide, and a challenge, testing humans in ways they could not yet fully understand. As they stepped back into the main corridor, Myra looked at Nico with determination. We have to keep going. There's more to discover, and I think the train will continue to guide us. We can't stop now. Nico nodded, feeling the same determination. The adventure had only just begun, and already he understood that this journey was bigger than travel or exploration. It was about learning, growing, and showing what humanity could truly achieve. Outside the windows, stars streaked past as the Stellar Express glided smoothly through space. Inside, the hidden carriage waited silently, ready to reveal more secrets to those brave enough to follow the whispers. And Nico and Myra were ready. The Stellar Express moved silently through the stars, a silver ribbon gliding between distant galaxies. Nico and Myra sat together in a quiet observation carriage, trying to process everything they had seen. The images from the cube, the visions of planets, cities, and humans solving impossible problems kept playing in their minds. For the first time, Nico felt that humanity's place in the universe was not small or accidental, it was important. I can't stop thinking about what we saw, Myra said quietly. The cube, it wasn't just showing possibilities. It was showing that humans are capable of so much more than we ever realize. Nico nodded. And it chose us. Why us? I keep asking myself that. But maybe it doesn't matter why. Maybe what matters is what we do with it. They decided to explore more of the hidden parts of the train. Following the map the cube had shown them, They walked through narrow corridors that hummed with a faint energy. Every step seemed to make the whispers grow louder, forming words that encouraged them: observe, understand, learn, share. Soon, they entered a carriage filled with strange instruments and panels. Lights flashed and moved along patterns that seemed almost alive. Myra reached out to touch one of the panels, and it responded, displaying an image of a distant star system. Planets rotated in slow motion, their surfaces marked with rivers, mountains, and glowing cities. "The train, it's showing us real places," Nico said. "Not just ideas, but entire worlds humans might one day reach." The whispers spoke again, their tone gentle and certain: "Humanity has courage. Humanity has curiosity. You are the beginning of a new path." Myra shivered with excitement. It's like the train is telling us that humans are not just explorers, we're builders. We can shape the future of entire worlds. Nico smiled. "And it's teaching us how. Look at these systems. The train wants us to understand not just travel, but think, plan, and guide humanity wisely." As they continued through the carriage, they found displays showing humans working together, engineers repairing complex systems, scientists solving difficult problems, and communities supporting one another. Every image carried a lesson about teamwork, creativity, and resilience. Nico realized that the train was more than a vessel, it was a mentor, guiding those willing to learn. Suddenly, the carriage shifted slightly, and a new image appeared. It showed a distant colony under threat, a planet caught between two drifting asteroids. Humans were working together, using clever machines and teamwork to redirect the rocks safely. The whispers said clearly, "Courage and intelligence can overcome any challenge. Humanity must believe in itself." Myra looked at Nico with determination. "This is more than visions. These are lessons. The train is showing us not just what humans can do, but what humans must do." Nico thought for a moment. "It's teaching us responsibility. If we can learn these lessons, we can help others. We can guide humanity in ways we never imagined." The cube's energy pulsed again, and the walls of the carriage projected a new vision. This time, it was the Stellar Express itself, revealing secret corridors, engine systems, and observation points. Nico and Myra saw that the train was far more than a passenger vessel. It was alive in a way that humans had never experienced. Every part of it seemed to respond to thought, curiosity, and courage. "The train chooses who it trusts," Myra said softly. "It tests humans. It watches how we act, how we think, and it rewards curiosity and courage." Nico felt a rush of understanding. "That's why it spoke to us. We were brave enough to follow the whispers, to seek the unknown. And now, it's showing us the bigger picture, what humans are capable of." For the next few hours, they explored the carriage in silence, absorbing every vision, every lesson. The whispers faded and returned, patient and calm, as if letting Nico and Myra decide how much to take in at a time. By the end, they both felt a sense of purpose unlike anything they had ever known. "This journey isn't just about space," Myra said finally. "It's about humanity. Our strength, our intelligence, our courage, and the choices we make. The train is teaching us to be more than we ever imagined." Nico looked out the window at the streaking stars. "And we have to remember everything we've learned. Because one day, it won't just be about us. We might have to guide others too." Outside, the Stellar Express glided silently through the void. Inside, the whispers remained patient, waiting for the next moment of curiosity, the next brave choice. Nico and Myra walked back toward the main carriages, their hearts full of excitement and wonder. They were no longer just passengers, they were students, explorers, and perhaps, in time, guides. The universe stretched endlessly before them, full of mystery and promise. And Nico knew, with every beat of the train's quiet pulse, that humanity's story was only beginning. The next morning, Nico and Myra returned to the hidden carriage, eager to see what the Stellar Express would show them next. The cube glowed softly, waiting as if it had known they would come. This time, the whispers were sharper, more urgent: prepare, act, overcome, learn. Myra looked at Nico. It sounds like the train is going to test us. Nico nodded. I think you're right. We've learned a lot, but now it's time to see if we can use that knowledge. The cube pulsed brighter, and the walls of the carriage transformed once again. This time, the images were not peaceful visions, they were challenges. The first showed a small cargo module floating in space, spinning out of control. The human crew inside struggled to stabilize it, and Nico could see the danger clearly. The train wants us to solve this, he said. We have to think like the humans in the image. Myra nodded. We can do this. Together. Using the controls in the carriage, they followed instructions that the cube seemed to generate. They had to calculate angles, speeds, and force to guide the module safely into the docking bay. Nico's engineering knowledge and Myra's careful observation worked perfectly together. After several attempts, the module finally settled safely. The whispers cheered softly: courage and intelligence, well done. Before they could rest, the next challenge appeared. This time, a rogue AI was controlling part of the train itself. It refused to open certain doors, lock systems, and demanded complicated codes that the passengers could not guess. Nico frowned. This isn't just engineering. We have to think fast and solve problems under pressure. Myra studied the display. The AI is testing how we react. If we stay calm, we can find a solution. They worked together, using logic, observation, and patience. Nico suggested rerouting energy to unlock the system, while Myra monitored the AI's responses, predicting its next move. Slowly, step by step, the doors opened, and the system returned to normal. The whispers grew stronger, praising their teamwork, collaboration, patience, understanding. Well done. Finally, the third challenge appeared: a simulation of an asteroid field drifting toward the train. Meteors of various sizes sped toward them, and Nico could see the danger clearly in the display. We have to guide the train safely through this, he said, gripping the controls. Myra's hands moved quickly, adjusting navigation systems as Nico calculated trajectories. Keep steady. Small movements, she warned. The challenge lasted what felt like hours, though the cube displayed it in minutes. They dodged, adjusted, and carefully navigated, using every lesson the cube had taught them: observation, calculation, teamwork, and courage. At last, the asteroid field passed, and the train was safe. The whispers praised them loudly this time: you have courage, intelligence, resilience, humanity can achieve greatness. Nico and Myra looked at each other, breathless but exhilarated. We did it, Nico said, smiling. All three challenges. The train is testing us, but we succeeded. Myra nodded, her eyes shining. It's more than tests. It's teaching us how humans can handle danger, solve problems, and work together. The lessons aren't just for us, they're for everyone. As they caught their breath, the cube pulsed gently, projecting new images. This time, the scenes showed humans exploring distant planets, repairing complex machines, and building communities in harsh environments. Every scenario highlighted human courage, intelligence, and cooperation. "The train wants us to understand something bigger," Myra said. "It's showing us that humans are capable of more than we ever believed. And now we have to be ready to use that knowledge." Nico felt a wave of responsibility. "We're learning, yes, but it's not just for us. One day, we might have to guide others. Show them what humans can achieve. Help humanity rise to its full potential." The cube's light dimmed, signaling the end of the day's lessons. Nico and Myra stepped out of the hidden carriage, feeling stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. The Stellar Express hummed beneath them, steady and patient, as if acknowledging their success. Outside the windows, stars glimmered in the vast darkness of space. Nico and Myra walked back to their assigned carriage, thinking about the day's challenges. They realized the journey was no longer just a ride, it was a training ground, a place to learn, grow, and prepare for the future of humanity. And somewhere deep within the heart of the Stellar Express, the whispers remained, quiet and waiting, ready to guide the next brave passengers who would follow their path. The Stellar Express glided silently through the vast darkness of space, its engines humming like a quiet heartbeat. Nico and Myra had grown more confident since the earlier challenges, but the lessons they had learned weighed heavily on their minds. They both understood that the train was more than a vessel, it was a guide, testing and teaching them, shaping the way they would think about humanity and the universe. "I can still hear the whispers," Myra said softly as they walked through a quiet corridor. "They're different now, calmer, but more meaningful. It feels like they're waiting for us to understand something important." Nico nodded. "I think we're ready. The challenges taught us a lot, but now it's time to learn why the train is guiding us." They followed the subtle pull of the whispers to a carriage filled with soft, glowing light. The cube floated in the center, pulsing gently, as if it recognized them. When they stepped closer, the light expanded, and the walls transformed into images that seemed even more real than before. This time, they were not only seeing humans, but the universe itself, the stars, planets, and civilizations far beyond human knowledge. The whispers spoke clearly, forming words that Nico and Myra could understand. Humanity is capable. Humanity is resilient. Humanity can lead. Myra looked around in awe. "It's showing us everything. The past, the present, and what humans could become in the future." Nico reached out toward the cube, feeling a warmth that seemed to flow into him. "It's not just teaching us. It's trusting us. The train believes humans can achieve greatness, and it wants us to carry that knowledge forward." The cube pulsed again, projecting images of humans working together to solve difficult problems. Colonies on distant planets were shown, some struggling with harsh environments, others thriving because of courage, intelligence, and teamwork. Every scene highlighted human ingenuity, repairing damaged ships, creating sustainable habitats, and discovering new energy sources. "The train wants us to see the potential," Nico said. "Not just in ourselves, but in all humans. We have the power to shape the future of entire worlds if we work together." Myra's eyes sparkled with excitement. "And it's showing us how. It's giving us lessons, not just visions. We have to remember everything we see." The cube then displayed a series of situations where humans faced difficult moral choices, decisions about saving lives, helping others, and prioritizing what was most important. The whispers spoke gently, guiding them. "Wisdom is as important as courage. Compassion is as powerful as intelligence. Humanity's strength lies in balance." Nico felt a deep sense of responsibility. This isn't just about surviving or exploring. It's about being wise and compassionate. The train is teaching us that human potential isn't only about skill, it's about values. Myra nodded. Everything we've learned, the challenges, the visions, the whispers, it's all connected. The train is preparing us for something bigger. It's preparing humanity. For hours, they explored the carriage, absorbing the lessons. They saw humans thriving in cooperation, solving impossible problems, and guiding each other with courage and kindness. The cube pulsed softly with each lesson, reinforcing the messages: curiosity, courage, wisdom, compassion. Humanity can rise above all obstacles. Finally, the cube dimmed, and the images faded, leaving Nico and Myra standing in the soft glow of the carriage. For the first time, they understood clearly: the Stellar Express was more than a train. It was a teacher, a mentor, and a guide, showing humanity its potential and preparing those ready to lead. Myra turned to Nico, her voice steady. We've learned the lessons. We've passed the challenges. Now it's time to take what we know and think about how we can use it. Humanity's journey doesn't end here, it's just beginning. Nico smiled. The train trusted us to understand this. And now it's our responsibility to carry it forward, to help others see what humans can achieve. Outside, stars stretched endlessly in every direction. The Stellar Express moved silently through the cosmos, a vessel of knowledge and guidance. Deep within its heart, the whispers waited, patient and quiet, ready to reveal the next step to those who were brave, curious, and willing to learn. As Nico and Myra walked back toward the main carriages, they felt a connection to everything around them: the train, the stars, and humanity itself. They were no longer just passengers. They were students, explorers, and perhaps, in time, guides for the rest of humanity. And somewhere deep inside the Stellar Express, the whispers waited for the next adventure, the next discovery, and the next human mind ready to learn the lessons of courage, wisdom, and hope. The Stellar Express hummed quietly as it glided through the endless expanse of stars. Nico and Myra walked side by side, reflecting on everything they had learned. The challenges, the visions, and the whispers had all led to this moment. They understood now that the train had not chosen them by chance, it had chosen them because they were willing to listen, to learn, and to act. Myra looked out the window at a distant nebula, its colors glowing softly in the dark. I never imagined the universe could feel so alive, she said. And now I understand. It's not just space we're exploring. It's what humans can become. Nico nodded, his thoughts heavy but determined. The train taught us courage, intelligence, and compassion. But it also showed us responsibility. Humanity has a future among the stars, and we have to help guide it. They returned to the hidden carriage one last time. The cube pulsed softly, as if acknowledging their arrival. The whispers were calm and welcoming: you have learned, you have grown, now take the knowledge forward. This time, the cube did not show visions of distant worlds or challenges. Instead, it displayed a single bright light, surrounded by patterns that seemed to move like constellations. Nico and Myra felt a warm energy filling the carriage, as if the train itself was speaking directly to them. It's giving us purpose, Myra whispered. Not just lessons, but the reason for learning them. The whispers spoke clearly, forming words they could understand: humanity is ready. You are ready. Lead with courage, guide with wisdom, and inspire with compassion. The journey continues beyond the train. Nico reached out, letting his hand hover above the glowing light. A wave of understanding passed through him. He realized that the Stellar Express was more than a train, more than a teacher. It was a symbol of human potential, showing that curiosity, courage, and collaboration could guide humanity to greatness. Myra touched the light as well, and together they felt a sense of unity not only with each other, but with every human being they had ever known, and every human yet to come. The whispers repeated softly, "Humans are capable, humans are resilient, humans can shine among the stars." For a long time, they simply stood there, absorbing the energy and the lessons. Outside the window, the stars streaked past like ribbons of light, and the train hummed steadily, carrying them closer to the colony at the edge of the galaxy. Nico and Myra both knew that their journey on the Stellar Express was ending, but the real journey, the one the train had prepared them for, was just beginning. As they stepped back into the main carriage, they saw other passengers moving quietly, unaware of the extraordinary experiences that had been unfolding just beyond the usual routes. Nico smiled. "Not everyone will see this, but maybe they don't have to. The train finds those who are ready. And we are ready now." Myra nodded, her eyes shining with determination. "We've learned everything it wanted to teach us. Now it's time to use it for humanity. To explore, to create, to guide, and to inspire." The train slowed as it approached the colony station. Lights from distant buildings glimmered in the dark, and the quiet hum of the engines deepened, almost like a farewell. Nico and Myra walked to the observation deck for one last look at the stars. The universe seemed infinite, but no longer frightening. Instead, it felt full of opportunity and promise. "We will remember this," Nico said. "Every lesson, every whisper. And we will make it count." Myra smiled. "The train showed us what humans can be. Now it's up to us to show the universe." As the Stellar Express came to a gentle stop, the hidden carriage's cube dimmed, and the whispers faded into a quiet hum. Nico and Myra stepped onto the colony platform, carrying with them not only knowledge, but purpose. The train's lessons would guide them for the rest of their lives, and perhaps for generations to come. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, full of mysteries and possibilities. Nico and Myra walked together, ready to face the future, confident in humanity's strength and potential. The Stellar Express waited silently, patient as ever, ready to guide the next curious minds who would follow its whispers through the galaxy. And somewhere deep within the train, the whispers remained, gentle and enduring: "Humanity can rise, humanity can shine, humanity is ready." The journey had ended, but for Nico, Myra, and all of humanity, a new adventure among the stars was only just beginning.